In this final paper, I have chosen to apply the knowledge from addictions to 28 Days, starring Sandra Bullock. In this paper, I will be focusing on Gwen Cummings, the main character played by Sandra Bullock. She is a city newspaper columnist that struggles with substance abuse, specifically alcohol. Addictions are prevalent in society, from substances such as drugs and alcohol to process addictions like sex, gambling, and eating disorders. Addictions counseling takes knowledge and patience from counselors. Gwen is a middle-aged female working in a big city. At the start of the movie, we see her drinking with friends and her boyfriend. The next day, rushing to her older sister's wedding, drunk, and where she is a bridesmaid, and ruins the reception with an embarrassing speech, and then reckless dancing, which she knocks over the wedding cake. And then she tells everyone she can fix it by taking the wedding limo to go to a bakery to get another cake. In the meantime, she runs the limo into a house and has to go to court, where she is told she either goes to jail or she admits herself into rehab. She goes into rehab for the 28 days and begins her treatment. While there, they find that her substance abuse started at childhood, where her mother was an alcoholic. She would have flashbacks throughout the movie of her mother's drinking. Her mother would often drink in front of Gwen and her sister Lily. They would find her passed out and drunk on the floor. Gwen's father was never named in the movie, so we don't know that side of the alcohol abuse. There are several things that made Gwen vulnerable to the substances. Her mother's habits, feelings of loneliness, and social, cultural factors are all contributing factors that made it easy for Gwen to fall prey to the alcohol. Alcohol is a sedative. According to Miller Forsheims, seductive drugs have their general effect suppression of the central nervous system. Sedatives increase the activity of certain class of inhibiting neurotransmitters called GABA. In reference to the above resource, sedatives have been commonly identified as downers. Low doses can decrease anxiety and create a euphoria effect. However, there are adverse effects. Alcohol can interfere with memory capabilities, induce blackouts, and can be dangerous when combined with other activities. The long-term effects of alcohol include dependency, lethal overdose, hypertension, and congestive heart disease, along with many other causes, liver damage, and things like that. Going out drinking with her boyfriend and friends is a regular social activity that she enjoys and does not want to give up. Drinking has led her to her inability to fulfill her work obligations. She continues to drink despite the fact that it interferes with her interpersonal relationships, especially her sister. When Gwen and Lily interact, there's always tension. Lily wants Gwen to be a part of her life in these major occasions, but Gwen drinking and driving and showing up drunk really puts a lot of tension there. by stealing the limo, it shows that the reoccurring of the alcohol and the thought of it won't happen to me. I can do anything. The 10-foot bulletproof idea. Gwen's assessment, one would consider anxiety, depression, and PTSD. According to the American Psychiatric Association, one must meet 5 or more of the symptoms, and the symptoms must be presented for a 2-week period, showing a change in how the individual normally functions to meet the majority depressive disorder criteria. In regards to major depressive disorder, Gwen meets one criteria. She expresses feelings of worthlessness and guilt in regards to the effects of her alcohol with other people, mainly Lily. Therefore, major depressive disorder and other related disorders can be ruled out. It is possible that Gwen could have a co-reoccurring anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder includes symptoms such as overwhelming anxiety and worry, difficulty managing worry, feeling on edge, irritability, and sleep disruption. The American Psychiatric Association, Gwen meets these symptoms criteria when she is not taking substances. A co-reoccurring disorder would influence her treatment and clinical understanding of her behavior and cognitive decisions. Anxiety and worry takes energy. Which those two factors are present, there is more difficulty in making decisions and completing tasks efficiently. In addition, having one's energy sucked by anxiety and worry contributes to fatigue and perpetuates an unhealthy cycle oscillating between anxiety and fatigue. In regards to difficulty diagnosis, one can rule out anxiety-associated disorders. Substance and medication-induced anxiety disorders requires that the substance be or medication is connected with the anxiety one experiences. Social anxiety disorders require an anxiety focused fundamentally on social interactions with one must participate in or being evaluated by others. Lastly, obsessive-compulsive disorder requires obsessive thoughts that are often unwanted and unstated. Post-traumatic stress disorder chronically requires the experience of a traumatic event, having persistent memories related to the traumatic event. Avoidance it is unclear whether there was a traumatic event occur for Gwen, because we don't know if she found her mother dead or alcohol overdose or being raped while drunk. Therefore, she does not meet the criteria of a post-traumatic stress disorder. Gwen's treatment plan would include several recommendations. A residential level of care for detoxification with medical staff on site would be the first step. After medical clearance was achieved, the other recommendations would be started. Treatment at a residential center would last a month and include individual therapy twice a week, group therapy 5 times a week, and weekly family sessions if her family could make it. After a month of level 3 treatment, I would recommend outpatient treatment. This would include weekly individual therapy and a local 12-step Alcoholics Anonymous group for 1 year. Upon discharge from individual treatment. I would recommend regular attendance to local 12-step Alcoholics Anonymous group and scheduling an individual counseling appointment as needed. It is very hard for anyone around you to have a mental illness and for you to deal with it. I have had an addiction to cigarettes for 25 years, and it has been told that it is the hardest addiction to quit. But I've also watched my father and my brother deal with the addiction of alcohol and drugs. My father has fought the addiction all of my life, and it has caused nothing but pain, and it's turned him to abuse and adherently to be all alone. And he still to this day blames everyone but himself for his problems. On the other side, I watched my older brother fight alcohol and drug addiction for 10 years until his daughter was born, and he put himself in rehab for 30 days. I know that he still fights it, and I know that it's hard for him on a daily basis. But he says that by going hiking or getting out his 12-step book or going to a meeting really helps to keep him sober. And he has been sober and clean for 23 years now and has a great life and family. I think after living with it my whole life, in the movie they do portray it in a pretty good way. It's a lot more gory and it's a lot more heartbreaking when it's in reality and when you're dealing with someone who you truly love and want to help and you can't help them. They have to help themselves. And that's the end of it. They have to want it themselves. So thank you and have a nice day.